My name is Jillian, and when we were given this assignment, it took me the confidence to even be able to think about this. Talking about my childhood is really difficult for me. I'm not going to say it was a horrible childhood. Actually, it was quite good. It's complicated. I'm going to open the window a little bit to you guys to know what it's like to grow up in a cult, and to show you the life consequences of leaving that situation. I also want to tell you that your worldview, what you know, is just given to you by your worldview. And you shouldn't let that hold you back from living your life. I'm the third of 4 children. And when I was 6, we moved out from Pittsburgh to Columbus. My dad is a pastor, and he took the position out here. And I had a great childhood. I was able to go to a private school that was with the church. I loved dancing to records with my mom. We would bake cookies. We would have fun. I'm very, very thankful for all of that. As I started to get a little bit older, I realized a major thing that we did was we went to church. We went to church Sunday morning for Sunday school, then right after Sunday school was Sunday church. Then we would go home for a couple hours, then we would go back to church. We went to meetings on Wednesday night and youth group on Friday night. And the community was great. They would do anything for you. They would bend over backwards for you. As I got older, my teenage years were very tumultuous. I wasn't a bad kid. I just wanted to explore. I wanted to meet people. I wanted to go out and see what the world had for me. I wanted to get my ears pierced twice. Absolutely not. There was no way I was going to do that, because I was going to be killed if I did that. So because of those things culminating, my internal rebel was born. And I really think that I became the black sheep of the family when I was probably about 14 years old. I did start to realize that I wanted more out of life. And there weren't lines drawn in the sand, there were walls built up around me. I started working when I was 16, 17 years old, and I started meeting people, and I'm not exactly an introvert, so, I'll talk to anybody. And I started meeting people, and I wanted to go hang out with them, and I wanted to just get to know them, and I wasn't allowed. So I started lying about it. I started telling my parents that I had just got my driver's license, so I was just taking a cruise and driving around 270, why not? I was lying to them constantly. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing any drugs. I wasn't having intercourse. I was just hanging out with people, watching a movie, getting to know people. I was 19, and the day that will live in infamy for me. I was hanging out with my friend Kyle, and my dad called me, and he said, "Where are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just driving around 270. And he said, "Where are you, Jill?" And I said, "I'm at my friend Kyle's house." And he said, "Come home right now." Okay. Well, I got lost on the way home because I wasn't really sure what 315 and whatever, but that was the longest drive of my life. I came home and I opened the door, and my parents were sitting there waiting for me. And we talked it through, and he said, "What were you doing?" And I said, "Oh, we were just watching a movie, And he said, "Why'd you lie to me?" And I said, "Because I knew I wasn't allowed to do that." And he said to me, "What would you do if you were me?" And I sat there, and I said, "I would kick me out." And he said, "Okay." He said, "It's your decision." And I said, "Okay." And I went and I grabbed 5 garbage bags, put all my stuff that I could into my garbage bags, and I put them in my car, and I left. And I had no idea where I was going. So I drove around. And I ended up on a friend's couch that night. That next year was very interesting. I was couch surfing, living in my car. I was just kind of wandering around trying to figure out what had just happened. What kept me going was I was working 3 jobs and going to Columbus school, trying to pay cash so I could go to school, because that's all I wanted to do was just go to college. Well, after a year of that had happened, I was burnt out. I couldn't keep working and going to school. So I stopped going to school, because I don't know if you know how financial aid works, but you can't get any financial aid unless you're 24, get married, or have a kid. Here I was, 20 years old, trying to go to school, and they were still looking on my parents' taxes, so I couldn't get any financial aid. So I realized that I had to stop going to school. So I finally settled down, got a place of my own. Settled down as in I found a place to live. I don't know if you know what Rumspringa is called, or what Rumspringa is. It's where the Amish kids get to go out for a year and kind of go crazy. That's what I did for about 3 years. I went crazy. Going places, doing things. I got my ears pierced 5 times, just doing things that I wanted to do. So when I realized that maybe I should just kind of slow down, I got a job that was okay, and so a couple years passed, and by this time my parents and I really didn't talk. I hadn't seen my siblings for 3 years. My dad would call me for business calls, hey, we got some mail, or you got a bill, or whatever in the mail. So he would call me every now and again, and he knew I really wanted to go to school. So the one conversation we had was, hey, I was thinking about you going to school, and a really easy way you can do is you can join the military. And I kind of laughed it off, but I also kind of took it as a dare. So I was 22, and a month later, I called him and I said, I'm leaving for basic training. And he didn't believe me, and I said, no, really, I'm leaving for basic training. So I left for basic training. My first duty station was Okinawa, Japan. It was wonderful. I love it, and my heart is there. I met my husband there. It was a great time. Then my second duty station was in Germany, and I got to visit there for a couple of years. And towards my time in Germany, I was kind of getting ready to wrap that area up, and I realized that I was tired of moving around, and I just kind of wanted to get out of the military. So I got out of the military, and me and my husband moved back to Columbus. No one had ever met my husband. We met at an Irish bar in Japan run by an angry Irishman named Martin. We met one night and we got married 3 months later. This January will be our 5-year anniversary. So things happen for a reason. So finally, I'm back in Ohio. I saw my family for the first time in 10 years last summer. It was the strangest thing. I have nieces and nephews that I don't know, and I will never know. And I have friends that I left behind the day that I left. But I made that decision because I wanted to be happy. And I just want to encourage you, I know everyone's younger than I am, that the world is out there for you guys to do whatever you want. And it sounds so cliche, you could be an astronaut. But you can go and do whatever you want. And your past is really who makes you, what makes you, but it doesn't have to define you. And you can go and make yourself happy before you try to make other people happy.